now I'd like to introduce to you some very good friends as well as a sponsor, but don't let that stand in the way. Leo Burnett, as one of our great sponsors this year for Kin Global and also for the last 2 years, so this is a 3-year running partnership. And every year, Paul Earl, the founder of Farmhouse at Leo Burnett, and now Guybrush Taylor, they come to me and they say, yeah, we like the helping out and all that, and we'll give you a little bit of money, boy, isn't that great? But we really want to do something exciting and different and kin-like. And so I say to them, okay, what does that mean? And this is what they came up with. Paul and Guybrush.
This is going to do something. I have no idea what, so you may want to duck. Let's see. Ah, look at that. It actually worked. Rob, thank you very much. It is so great to be here. It's great to see so many old friends, make so many new friends. This is really a wonderful institution. We are so proud to be part of the Kin. As Rob mentioned, Farmhouse has been a Kin sponsor and partner for all of our existence. We're basically a startup ourselves. We turned 3 in June, so we're getting out of diapers, I guess. But I am Paul Earl. I'm the executive director of Farmhouse. And in addition to financial contribution, we like to do things creatively to contribute to this great group and this great mission. And we were brainstorming about 5 months ago and trying to figure out what we were going to do this year. And one colleague said, well, Paul, what's the theme? And I said, well, it's actually growth for good. And the room completely lit up. It was like the scene from E.T. where the heart light starts to glow. And the reason is creative professionals are motivated by the ability and the opportunity to do things that matter. This is more compelling and more motivating than fame and fortune, although those things are nice too. But creative professionals want to do things that have impact. And so what a wonderful theme of growth for good, the ability to actually make something that matters. Then the difficult task became, okay, what in the heck are we going to do? And where we landed was to do something by the kin, for the kin. One thing that has always bugged me is when I hear people say, well, what are they going to do next? What are they going to do about it? Why don't they solve this problem? Well, we're they. You are they. We are they. So we thought we would put together some thinking to help us come together as a broader collective organization and create growth for good. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Guybrush Taylor.
Thank you. Before I go clicking away here, I will say that this is, since I've been in America, the most amount of Canadians I've ever seen in one place. And all from the same area. I'm from the Brampton, I'm from the bad part, but you get the idea, yeah. But it's all the smart ones too, and I'm not sure if we're being honored or hunted down. I can't really figure that out. I'm sort of waiting for the gas to come through the floor or something, but that's Canadian humor. So let's move on from death. So connecting dots, collaboration, co-op, we've been hearing these things over and over again all throughout this amazing day. And I think we're going to hear about tonight, tomorrow, and hopefully every time we all get together and on the plane home and everything. Because when we look at growth for good, what we do at Farmhouse is we connect dots and in the direction of growth. So we have a need, a human need out in a market. People, I want this, I wish I had that, I really need this. And the market is saying, I've got this, I've got that, I'm sorry. And then we've got, on this side, we've got the brand. The brand has all these wonderful assets and tools, and its history, and its equity, and its purpose. And we put the two together and say, growth. And usually, you're right, fame, fortune, profit, these kind of things. But I think what we've been learning so far is that good and business good and human good are kind of becoming synonymous now, if not already. So we want to talk about connecting dots, because as far as dot connectors go, we're like kids in a candy store in this room. We are not saving lives and everything like that. What we can do is hopefully take the lifesavers and the business growers and put them together and create something brand new, connecting dots. We're like kids in a candy store, or I guess it's kids in a kale store now. Whatever the modern thing is. So you've seen this before, with Growth for Good, connection, collaboration, partnership with Red, and basically turning purchasing consumer goods into a donation model to fight HIV. The Thai government, for over 10 years, worked with businesses to give away condoms to reduce the infection rate of HIV, and did so, I think, about 90% or so. It was a really amazing effort and templatable. And then Uber, working with a cat charity in New York, a cat shelter. It'd be amazing, yeah. Here's a fish, yes. Yeah, well, I'll just sit down. The point of this program was if you donate to the shelter, someone will put a cat in an Uber, drive it to you, and you can hang out with the cat for 20 minutes or something. So they turned a donation model into purchasing consumer goods. So it's wonderful. There's all these collaborations, all this mix. And the important part of all this is that none of them could do it alone. And that's what we see in this room right now, is a bunch of individual good. And we'd love to kind of create growth to create great. So no offense to the good, but there's more after good. So what would be good? It's Kin Global, not Kin Evanston. So we look at global good. The fine folks at the World Economic Forum have this ongoing list. They update it every year. Top 10 trends, which is an odd way of saying top 10 impending dooms. And you can see all of them here. And we've talked about a lot of them so far. Income inequality, lack of leadership, increasing water stress, these kind of things. I'm picking them because I want to talk about them. How can we create this growth? And that's kind of what we do and how we do it. That's, as I was saying before, I can skip this slide because I'm trying not to get in the way of you and your cocktails. World Economic Forum says, here's the market, here's a bunch of human needs, here's what we got to solve for, here's all these bads that need these goods. And then here's our toolbox. This. Everybody in the program, everybody in the room, friends of friends, all this amazing ability in this room right now. So when you look at increasing water stress, and you've got Africa, Asia, California, I mean, this is not a distant problem anymore as it used to be. Increasing water stress. Canadian humor. We have no access, or we have a limited supply. And the whole thing seems to be boiling down to these two problems. How do we get access to water for people? And if we have a lot of access to water, but a lot of people, and they're going through the water too fast, how do we manage this access? Those three things could probably pull it off. If we had big infrastructure that local places could tap into, and we build that local infrastructure by taking people out there and giving them pipes and faucets and fixes, and send them out there and say, patch this up, get it going, here's what we do. What's nice is that there's someone from Deloitte in this room right now, and they do this all the time, and they're really, really good at it. There's somebody from Indiegogo here, as you've heard, who's really, really good at crowdfunding and crowdsourcing, even crowd building new faucets, new filters, new taps, or whole programs where we can say, hey, if you want to go on a trip, don't go to a trip to Shanghai, go to a trip to this place that needs these faucets and these pipes dropped off. Go help them install it, go help them work it out. Go to Orbitz and create a whole new type of what they call currently volunteer vacations. It's a new type of travel, socially responsible adventure travel. So we can create all these wonderful things, package it all up and call it H2Go. And now we have a whole new way of creating good, in a sense, out of these individual goods and hopefully create great. I'll keep going. We have 15 minutes. Deepening income equality sounds like 1%, 99%, this kind of thing. But it's bigger than that. It's basically at the heart of it. I mean, there's jobs, there's violence, and all this kind of stuff. But the bottom line is that the less jobs there are, the less faith there is in the economy. The less faith there is in the economy, the less faith there is in democracy, governments. Everything falls apart. I'm saying things we already know. But the focus, and we've heard it yesterday with the government conversation. Federal job creation has to be supplemented or work in tandem with business job creation. Business needs to take care of business, in a sense. We do that by, we were just talking about it a second ago, which is awesome. This whole presentation is horribly out of date because we just want to take the panels that we've said so far and line them up in a row and say, just say it again, but for this reason, for H2Go. In this case, leadership incubation. Creating and incubating the spirit, the ability to entrepreneuriate, to create growth so that when we have leaders, we create business. When we have business, we create growth. And when we create growth, we create good. So incubating the ability to do this. We need those standards. What are the leaders of the future going to be? What are they going to be made of? What are they going to have to lead? How are they going to have to lead? And an online education program, that's a hard word to say, and a platform where people can learn this, online, offline, media platforms, Khan Academy, these kind of things. And people sourcing. Who are the great leaders of tomorrow? How young can we get them? You know, we've seen Me to We. We've seen people talking to 7, 8-year-olds saying, and the 7, 8-year-olds are saying to us, we want to change the world. How can we bring these people into the fold and train them to become the leaders of tomorrow? And then how can we place them back into the world? This slide is terribly out of date. Every one of us could be put on that slide over there. But these guys are a really good kind of a test case for people who are invested in making businesses in massive amounts of the world getting better and better and better, putting the best leaders in the best places to grow the best businesses and to create the most growth for good. Forbes, we currently use, I mean, they're the nexus of business insight and successful business, masters of understanding what successful business is and how it could work. Can we use them? Can they be the ones who open the school? Not a source of business information from a magazine after the fact, but the source of creation of those issues 10 years from now. And finally, masters of HR and Syndio and placement of people. Who are these people? How do we get them? What are they made of? Where can we put them? If they're not going to go and work in a company, can we use them? Can we bring them to Howard? Can we grow them? Can we bring them to the entrepreneurs of the world? And call the whole thing futurepreneurship. And start schooling future leaders intentionally so that when they're finished becoming the future leaders of tomorrow, the future is ready to accept them. Lastly, natural disasters. Phuket, Haiti, Nepal. I mean, we've seen this. And what's kind of an unsung hero in all this is not the restoration of the buildings, and not the restorations of the economy or national pride and this kind of thing, but really, really, really basic stuff. Soap, shampoo, food. You know, food gets a lot of work, but feminine care, personal care, these kind of things. We walk by these every day in a Walgreens or whatever, and we're trying to get to the Pepsi aisle, but the shampoo aisle turns into liquid gold when there's a disaster. So we have this problem of supplies and demand. How do we get these supplies to these people when they're sitting on our shelves waiting for us to purchase them into the hands of people? How can we go shopping for them? If we put it all together, we can say, well, if there were personal care products and I could buy them and I could put them on a plane and I could hand them out to the people who needed them, that would solve this problem. And we've got Unilever in the room. We're friends with P&G. I mean, that's a pretty good time for those guys to lay down their arms and say, you know what, you're right. Let's just put all the soap we can in the box, put it on the plane, and send it out there. Google, obviously, if I can buy a PlayStation 4 in 2 clicks, can I not buy shampoo for someone who needs it, for shoes or socks for someone who needs it the most, and track it and watch it go and make sure that it got there and take all the transparency that we need in this occasion and create it online. We've seen from United. They've got a couple of planes. Maybe there's some room in the base. And finally, free the children. Obviously, masters of building villages, adoption villages. Can we restore villages? Can we create villages? Can we help villages when they need them ad hoc? Donate. So this is, in a sense, this is our value in this room as far as we're concerned. We really love the fact that we are in this room and it's full of good. And we really, really, really want to take these pieces individually. You know, if you think about, like, we've got chow mein and we've got bok choy and we've got crab's legs, and they're great. Amazing on their own. But together, they make an all-you-can-eat buffet. And the all-you-can-eat buffet is a whole new type of good, and none of them could create it on their own. And that's what we're looking to do, and that's what we're very excited to do. So, to keep on time, I mean, again, I put this up as an apology because I'm a Canadian, but I wish that I could go through this entire room and start partnering and putting people together and say, what's the all-you-can-eat buffet you can make? What's the good that you can make? Some of us are going to be around at the cocktail reception. It's Laura and Paul, and the boss is here if you want to sign some contracts. But the important part I would just say is, oh, and you can, if you're shy, you can email us. But the important part I would say is just like, look who's next to you. Don't make it awkward, but look next to you and think about, are those people someone I could work with? And the person next to them. Maybe if we two got together and I offered this and they offered that, I do what I'm best at. I do what I'm best at, they do what they're best at, and they do what they're best at, and that guy funds it, and the whole thing comes together, and we don't have to do anything differently than what we do already. We just have to do it together in the direction of growth for good. Sounds simple, I hope it's simple. And yeah, I tried to keep it on time.
We have 21 seconds left.
Oh.
We've got 21 seconds.
Guys, thank you very much. So I just want to underscore what you did. It was an exercise, and it was really beautiful. They said, who's going to be there? I told them. They didn't tell me what they were going to do. They threw all these companies and organizations out on a table, and they said, what could we put together to try and address these various challenges we've identified from the World Economic Forum. So this is about intersections. This is about new combinations. They have hypothesized these, but I want to be very clear. Leo Burnett, Guybrush, and Paul and their team are saying, if any of you are interested in any of these, we want to do them. We are willing to step up and provide resources and intelligence and branding to help somebody make these happen. So go find them when you're totally drunk and ready to sign a contract. Paul and Guybrush, thank you so much. This was great. And Canadian humor's okay.
All right, thank you, Rob.
Great.
All right.